Hey everyone, welcome to the lesson for today. So today we're going to be talking about aperture and what is aperture. So when we're talking about aperture, we're talking about the opening in a camera lens. So for example, this camera right here, the lens is wide open. When it comes to aperture, the low number like f1.8, f2 up to f3 is when your lens open up completely wide. That allows more light into your camera and into your sensor, and that helps brighten up your photos. But when you have an aperture wide open like that, you have a smaller depth of field. So there's only a small portion of your photo that would be crystal clear and everything else will be blurred. Hence the term that in photography we like to use called bokeh, where the background is creamy and blurry and your subject is in focus, because they use a wider aperture. They usually set that at 1.2, 1.4, even 1.8. When it comes to a higher aperture number, like let's say f4 all the way up to f22, that creates everything in your photo to be focused. Everything on your photo is focused. The only bad thing about that is your lens will be closed up because all the blades in there closes up and it leaves you a little bit of pinhole. Therefore, not a lot of light can enter your photo. So when you want everything to be in focus, you're sacrificing the brightness of your photos, because with that little amount of opening, not a lot of light can hit your sensor enough to give you a bright photo. So that's why hence you need to work on ISO and shutter speed to help compensate for that situation. So it's always balancing out the three components of exposure. But Aperture, their main function is to allow more light in. That is like the first stage in your photography that determines the brightness. So just imagine when a light hits your viewfinder, how bright, how dark it is. Where does it enter first? Through your lens, right? So Aperture's main focus is to brighten and darken your photo. The second ability for Aperture to deal with is not its main job, but it also affects it as you search through. Your first main job for Aperture is the depth of field. Remember, the lower the number, the wider the aperture means more light, but you're also sacrificing everything around you either being blurry and only a small spot will be focused, or you want everything to be in focus but your photo is darker, so you have to bring in more artificial light or compensate it with the other settings. And as we know, we compensate with the other settings, especially ISO, then you'll add more grain into it. So it's always a balancing act. So that is what Aperture is. And as we go through this master photography course, we will eventually go in depth even more and show you examples and different situations where we will set aperture and why it's very important. But as of right now, the basic understanding of aperture is the opening of your lens, allowing light to hit your sensor. I'm glad that you guys are here, and thank you for being in this lesson, and I hope to see you guys in the next lesson. You guys have a good one.